if I remember right, the first time that we did a show with Bubba Sparxxx, I want to say Perkins had booked him to play at the old KO's club.
Okay.
Wasn't that the first time?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time. He booked him to play KO's club. We got directly in touch with him at that event, and I got his phone number, and then I want to say like a year later we booked him to come out here. And I think I booked him to play Bozeman and then Whitefish and then possibly
Jester?
possibly Helena at Jester's. I'm pretty sure I had him play there too. But
Damn, I don't remember Whitefish at all, but not saying it didn't happen, but
yeah, it definitely happened.
so I'm trying to piece together like, okay, because it was only twice that he came out here, right?
I'm trying to think. I think other people may have brought him out here like
Another time.
on occasion or whatever, but I know that we've brought him out here 2 different times, and I'm pretty sure we did Bozeman and Whitefish both times.
Because I'm trying to piece together like how, because I recorded him at my old condo on fucking Warbler Way, but that must have been the first time he came out, or maybe it was the second time somebody else brought him, or because we didn't do the studio and the video at the same time, I don't think.
No, so the first time that he came out, we just offered him money, I believe, on the spot. So the first time we brought him out, which would be the second time he'd been to Bozeman, after playing the gig at God, what was he calling it? Club YOLO.
Wasn't it something else before that though?
Well, it was
or after?
It was KO's club, and then he called it Club YOLO.
Yeah, but I thought he had another name for it too. I think he changed the name at
Oh,
one point.
it was like Bozeman Events Center or
Yeah,
something
like that.
very general.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I don't. Trust me, I didn't forget KO's.
Yeah, KO's classic. But yeah, he came out, played that one. We met him. I got his phone number, and then me and him started talking. And I sent him, some of our music, and I sent him some links to Dusty Dilsnick music videos and shit. And he took like a big liking to Dusty's shit. He thought Dusty was like badass. He thought Dusty was like gonna be next to blow. At least that was the vibe that I got from him. He thought Dusty was like really something. And so we started kind of planning on having him come back out, and then we asked him to work out some sort of a deal to get a feature when he came for that next show. And so we recorded the song when he was out that time. We, like I said, I want to say we played Bozeman and Whitefish on that first run. I'm trying to think if there was anywhere else. I think it was Bozeman and Whitefish. For some reason, it seems like we played Jesters with him too, but I know we got those shows in, and he was just like, down to earth, like cool dude to hang out with, and just super chill. And the fact that he's like a fellow white rap artist that I used to listen to a lot of his shit, and like, he inspired me to continue, thinking that a white rapper could do this shit. And so to end up getting to work with him is super dope. And so we got him to come out on that one, and then the next time that he came out, I want to say it was either the 3rd of July or the 5th of July, because I got him for super cheap, because it was like
Not the 4th of July.
yeah, it was like, no one wanted to book a show on or around 4th of July, and so I remember I did get him for like super fucking cheap. But that was when we played the Cat's Paw, and yeah, I don't know, like I think we just sprung it on him to shoot a music video during that show. I think we just If I remember right, we had mentioned it, and then like, you know, there was no talk of like money or like an agreement of any sort, and then we just got on stage and we're like, yo, y'all want to see Bubba Sparxxx and shoot a music video for our new single?
Yeah.
And I think he felt like he was maybe on blast, but he came up there and he performed the shit, and you know, I think we did a few takes too, but somehow. And this is a credit to his artistry, because I tell you what, if I did a feature for somebody and they put me on blast like that, thinking I'm gonna remember that fucking shit and be able to spit it for well enough to be timed up, you know, and not look like a kung fu movie or whatever. But
well, I think like you said, a credit to him, but like I think his saving grace was like it was the same at the same time we did the video, so that shit was like fresh in his mind. So that was the same trip, right? Yeah. So, but we definitely ambushed his ass with the live
performance. Yeah,
because like you said, I think we did mention it, and he was like not having it at all. And
so wait, did we get him to shoot the music video, like the parts out on your farm and shit? Did we get him to shoot that the day of the show, and then the show was that night?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, shit, man.
Because I
know the live performance shit. We just put him on blast, and he like just accepted his role and just spit that shit. But
I mean, I guess he didn't really. If you look at the video, I guess when he does his part, there aren't really any shots from the cat's paw of him rapping. So I don't know. I could be off. Maybe it was the day before or day after. I mean, he kind of remembered the hook, I think. But, shit, I don't know.
And I can't remember if we paid him for the music video or if he just did it on the love. I don't remember any money exchanged on that one.
I don't think so.
And I know at one point...
I mean, we just sprung that shit on him, so...
And I know at one point maybe he was just BSing, but I know he was talking about, like, helping Dusty get more shows and working with Dusty, or maybe even, like, putting Dusty on some shit that he had going on. But, like, you know, all I know is we spent time together, and I could tell he was a fan of Dusty. If not Filth and Foul, he definitely loved old Dusty Dilsnick, for sure.
Man... Dusty, hard to forget, huh?
How about in the video, Bubba Sparxxx driving my fucking Cordoba, I remember he really thought the Cordoba was like unique and super dope.
Yeah.
And Cordoba was looking clean as fuck back then too, with them. I don't even know. They were big ass rims. Yeah. I don't know if they were 20s. I don't know if they were 22s, but they were pretty fucking big, and they were nice.
Yeah, driving up and down the fucking dirt road out here.
Yeah.
And then I just remember, like, going up on the hill and fucking with my dad's fucking flatbed and just, like, driving hella slow so he could rap. And then you always ask me about this, and I don't remember it, but you're like, do you remember homeboy falling off the truck?
Oh, yeah, Dave. Yeah. Like we're mobbing through the field, and Dave is, like... He's sitting on the edge, and the wind catches his cowboy hat, because he's wearing a cowboy hat for the shoot. Wind catches his cowboy hat, and when he goes to try to like catch it, he falls off the truck completely and just tumbles and just like jumps back up and dusts himself off.
Oh man, that would have been crucial to have in the video.
Oh, that would have been How did we miss that shot?
I don't think Nicole has the. Shout out to Nicole Stotts.
Yeah,
I don't think she has the footage, because I was trying to get the video to post on our YouTube channel, because it was only on hers. So, but I think they had like a computer crash or some shit, and they lost all that. So,
yeah.
But man, that would have been the shot to have him just falling off the truck.
Some classic B-roll. Big Dave taking a dip.
Yeah,
rolling through the field. Yeah, that would have been some fucking crazy shit.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a cool day, man. Just hanging out with Bubba Sparxxx, like at your place where you grew up and your family's farm. Like, it's a classic scene for the What You Know About It Filth and Foul music video featuring
Yeah.
Bubba Sparxxx and Dusty Dillsnick. Check that out on YouTube if you haven't already seen it. We took it down and re-uploaded it. Swear to God, we had at one point, I want to say we had like 80,000 views.
Oh, it's still on her channel.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you can.
I know it was a significant amount of views that we had on that one.
Yeah, I just wanted all of our shit in one place. So it might pop up on hers, it might pop up on ours, but either way, we should get paid for it. So
Yeah.
I guess.
Yep.
Big bucks.
The big bucks.
Nah, but that was dope. I mean, just getting to record him was dope as fuck. I still have he left his lyric sheet. I got it in a frame. I need to hang it up, but cause he was Grammy nominated, right? I think. I should check mine. But I mean, obviously he was a fucking huge star at one point.
For sure.
I mean, he had fucking Timberland making his music, and I mean, he was killing it. So
yeah, to have him hanging out in the studio with us, treating us like family, you know, for numerous occasions, you know, not just the first, second, or third time that we rolled with him. Like every time we've been around him, he's been super
solid,
cool.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It was super inspirational hanging out with him, and then the fact that, you know, we've experienced numerous celebrities that came through to make a feature with us, you know, and do a song, and they literally just, some of them, no offense, but they just shit the bed. And he came through with what I feel is like one of our top features of all time as far as verse and content, and you know, did this guy even care if the song was gonna sound good when it was done, or did he just shit something out to get his low pay or whatever it might have been? And I feel like he took a lot of pride and made sure that it sounded dope with what we already had. It mixed and blended very well.
Yeah. Well, the original beat is what he recorded that to, but we didn't. That was a fucking internet beat.
Yeah.
So I remixed the shit and tried to emulate the beat as much as possible, but I just wanted to make sure like we owned the rights to the beat, because I mean, you get fucking Bubba Sparxxx on a song, you don't want to like not be able to use it or get it fucking yanked off of whatever streaming platform and shit.
Do you have that original version with the internet beat?
It's probably in the session file itself.
It's been a while since I heard that one, but
man, we should have put that on Extra Filth.
Yeah.
Volume, or Extra Foul, I guess. So, you know, Volume 3.
Yeah.
Got to write that down.
Yep.
Take notes while I'm fucking thinking about it. So, but yeah, he'd be dope to have at Rap in the Rivers for sure. Like, I think he would kill shit there.
For sure. Yeah, if I could get in touch with him, and you know, I don't have his direct contact anymore. Like, I lost his number a few years back, but the last time that I spoke with someone who was booking him, they quoted me a price, you know, and no offense to trying to get paid and shit, and, you know, progression, but like, it was literally double what I've ever paid him.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
To start with. And like, I think he wanted travel and stuff on top of that, and it's just like, you know, it has to make sense. Once we've brought him so many times to Montana, we've got to find a whole new audience of hip-hop heads who know and care about Bubba Sparxxx, which is hard to do in our market. And you know, although I'd like to do it, I just don't see it making a whole lot of sense to pay him more than we've paid him when he's already been here and people have already, like, the core market has already seen him.
Yeah.
If not once, maybe twice. Potentially for a handful of us, three times, you know, and it just has to make sense. But he would kill it out here, and of course, I'd love to just get back in touch with him directly and be able to make some new shit.
We could apologize for putting him on Front Street.
Yeah,
putting him on blast.
Yeah, took it like a champ.
Shout out to Bubba Sparxxx. I follow his YouTube channel, and he's putting out hella music, and it's fucking dope. He just did a song with Big Crit recently. I love Big Crit, so that was fucking a solid combo. But
word, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's big amongst the country rap shit. You know, every time I see like a country rap chart, he's always, you know, top 10. So,
Yeah.
you know, shout out Bubba Sparxxx. I didn't really think he was country or think of him like that at all until, you know, we met him and I started like diving into his more recent music because it used to just be like he was a white dude that rapped. I didn't get a country vibe from him.
Yeah.
Even with the name Bubba, I wasn't like, oh, this dude reeks of country.
It's funny because like and we did it too, like all the videos of features he did with, you know, people that are similar to us, smaller fucking acts or whatever. They're all like backcountry, like party shit, like driving around in ATV, you know, like on a fucking 4-wheeler, or like we're riding around in a fucking wheat field on a fucking flatbed truck. Like, it's funny how everybody does like the same shit with them when they get them on a song, but that country vibe.
That's true. Yup. Very true.
If you're watching Bubba Sparxxx, hit us up.
Yeah, Bubba. Appreciate all the love you showed us over the years, and I know old Dusty's got mad love for you. He's always talking about doing that collab album with you, and you know, he can be annoying, but old Dusty wants to work with you, Bubba. So I'll give him a holler if you get a chance.
Man, Dusty and Bubba, it just has a ring to it.
Yep.
I can see it now.
Yeah, old Dusty, man. I know he's supposedly got a new album that's gonna drop a week from Never. Don't know what the holdup is. But,
is that the title? A Week from Never?
Yeah, he should call it that. That sounds like a great title for pretty much anything that he does.
Nice. Still shining that buckle.
Shout out
Dusty
though. He's been showing up to the shows that he's booked lately. He's not on that Bone Thug shit. He's been showing up, doing the performance, and
just taking notes. But we gotta talk about Bone Thugs at some point.
Oh yeah, Bone Thugs, huh? Just say their name, I start feeling like an old, tired rapper.
It's funny because like they've been doing like a lot of new music lately too, and it actually kind of seems like they're showing up for shit. I don't know. Maybe I miss all the shows that they don't, but
maybe
there's like hella footage.
Lobel tighten the ship. I don't know who's managing them right now, but like hopefully it's somebody who's literally, you know, making sure that they're showing up and that they're accountable, and that, you know, it's the whole group instead of, you know, showing a flyer in the promo for months on end with certain members and then 2 other members or 3 members show up.
Yeah.
Or shit, maybe just Mo Thugs show up. I don't know. You know, what year is it? We don't know, but shout out to them if they're showing up to their shows and doing it right again. That's good business.
Yeah. Well, that makes me think about the Joker. But I feel like there's plenty of story before it got to that point, but
yeah.
There was a period of time from like what, 07, probably 07, 08. Correct me if I'm wrong, where me and you weren't making music together. Was that about the time frame?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
For whatever reasons, we can get into that another time, but needless to say, when we weren't making music together, I ended up making music with this dude. I'm not going to give him any shine. We call him Joker Lambs.
The Joker.
And while I was doing that, you found this young kid at Bozeman High.
Yeah, I found a high school kid.
Named Ryan, a.k.a. Minx.
Ryan Minkoff, a.k.a. Minx, the Great White Nasty.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, we ran into him and started working with him a lot during that period.
How did that even come about? Like, how did you hook up with Minx?
Oh, man. How did this... I'm trying to remember exactly how we got in touch. I want to say it was MySpace, maybe.
Damn.
Yeah, I think Asher found Minx's MySpace profile and started checking it out, and it was like Big Dreamin' was on there. Like a Pro was on there, and the dude, this kid, high school kid from Bozeman, was making all of his own beats. He was writing all of his own lyrics and producing it all himself, in house.
He was what, like 17?
He was a senior in high school. We met him, I want to say, like middle of the year of his senior year in high school, and the kid was just a finished product that was like, what I would consider a finished product that was ready to go, and this is just based on the music that we heard on his MySpace and whatnot. And so we invited him to do a show at the Legion, and he's a kid, so obviously
was that his first show?
Yeah, that was his first show. He may have done like a talent show or something like that before, but like it was the first opportunity for him to perform live, and then as well, what comes with that is like his family and all their friends going, "Oh, did you hear Ryan's doing a show?"
Yeah.
And so like it ends up being this like crazy turnout at the Legion, like,
That's
and this
dope.
is before the Legion had the explosion and got remodeled.
It was downstairs.
So it was a Legion downstairs, but Legion downstairs was packed with all kinds of people, and they were like huge fans of his shit, and it was just crazy because like this kid didn't have an album out or whatever, but everybody like that came out to support him like knew all of his songs and like
word for word on.
So like he asked me before, he's like, "How long can I perform?" I'm like, "You can do as long as you want, man, like go for it." And so he ends up performing like an hour set, and like no backtracks, ripped it all, and like just like high energy, like just killed it, man. When that Like a Pro song came on, it was just fucking like the energy was insane, and like all his people were feeling it. All the whole crowd that was there literally was like, taken over by this kid's energy, and yeah, he killed it. And like from there, we started doing features with him, and then like eventually, like I had him doing all the shows that we were doing during that year that me and you weren't working together.
Yeah.
So he was like doing shows with us as Minx, like a solo show or whatever. And then me and Chris had done some features with him. So like when he would perform, we would jump up and do those couple songs that we did with him. And then eventually me and Chris for that year were performing shows as Filth and Foul, and Chris was kind of just backing me up.
Yep.
And I was, I wasn't trying to like, I guess I was just trying to keep using Filth and Foul's name to still get paid for doing shows.
It's all good.
By all means, but yeah, that wasn't Filth and Foul.
Nah, no offense, Chris.
No
Thanks
offense.
for holding my spot down.
I mean, no offense to Chris, and of course, Chris is the reason that I started rapping in the first place back in 1993. So he was like my inspiration. So it was easy when we weren't working together for that time to just take the person that convinced me to rap in the first place and just kind of plug him in there. And then my set just became whatever I could do without you being there, and like pieces and parts of songs. It was a snippet. It was an outright snippet festival.
A snippet fucking festival.
It was a fucking snippet festival. But
that's what's up.
So Chris held it down for a while, and then eventually me and Chris have like a sort of a falling out. I can't even remember what the hell it was. Like I think it was just him drinking and being a little bit hard to deal with sometimes, and I think we just had a falling out. But me and him stopped working together, and then eventually me and Minx started performing as the Links, and it was kind of like I'd book it as Filth and Foul, but then me and Minx showed up. We would show up and just perform, our shit as the Links. I would do little snippets of Filth and Foul shit. But it was ultimately just like whatever hours worth of shit that we could push together as a crew at that time.
So did the name come from Abe Link and Minx?
Yeah.
Is that where you got the Links?
The Links, yeah. It's funny because that name was kind of, there's already the Cuban Links and all this. Yeah. I guess there is a different, the Links.
Oh, shit.
But but yeah, we were just combining
Yeah.
my alias of Abe Link and Minx and calling it the
Stinking Lincoln.
You know, it's right up there with Minx's mother, Vicky. We call her Vinx.
Vinx.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, you can't hang out with us and not get a nickname. You just get one.
So, okay, I was about right with the time frame because, so during that period, like we had, but you know, I was doing all the recording for us. I had recorded basically the album, which was supposed to be Undisputed, and it was pretty much done. And then, you know, whatever happened, and we weren't doing shit together. And then, so you ended up putting that. It was always going to be called Undisputed, but you ended up putting it out as a Nickel B album, basically.
Yeah, I just did what I could, man. I during that time, believe me, I did not want to do that. And like, if you remember, I was like beating down your door trying to holler at you, man. And like just trying to get your attention. And
for sure.
And yeah, I mean, I wish that never happened. I'm glad we re-released it as Filth and Foul. Like, that means a lot to me that we did that later on in the game. But yeah, I mean, I just kept it moving. I wasn't gonna like throw that album away, and I was assuming we weren't gonna work together, so I was just gonna put the album out. And like my life, I like everything in chronological order, so I wouldn't have really been able to write new music or move on or be at peace without just putting that out there and then moving on to the next project, which, you know, that's just kind of how I felt about it at the time. And, you know, it was a bittersweet time for me. It really was, because like, I mean, you know, our powers combined. Like, I'd rather not do any more. I really would rather just not do any more solo shit, or pretend to be friends with some other dildo and make a fucking make a whole album of shit that ends up being me feeling like regretful. You know, like when I listen to the throwbacks from the future shit, I'm like, you know, I just feel stupid about that entire fucking. It's wasted time. Yeah. It's wasted 16s for me. Like I listen to it and I'm like, it's like this subpar shit, and you know, I was just kind of filling in the blanks, spending time where I shouldn't have been.
Yeah, well, you just, I think we were actually doing shit at that time, but
that was
you just had some shit to get out, so
that was me hanging out with a dude who moved in nearby me, and it was just convenient at the time for me to like make these songs and like, you know. But at the end of it, you're just like, well, shit. All those 16s that I wrote for that project could have went for
could have been ours.
Yeah, could have went for some shit that we made. You know,
shit. So. It's not like you have a X amount of 16s you get in your life, so they'll still be. You still got some dope 16s in you. I know that.
Thank you.
But
during that Undisputed era, you know, putting that album out. As a solo artist, it was just kind of whole time like getting some press about it. Yeah, having Dave Goodwin.
It was everywhere. I remember having
Dave Goodwin, like do the production and master the album.
Okay, I didn't even know he did that.
Yeah. Dave Goodwin mastered that album, and like,
shit, that's something else we can talk
about. So Nick McMurray actually. Homeboy Nick McMurray ran into me during that time, and he is the reason that album got mastered by Dave Goodwin. Okay. Like, they were friends, and he kind of like made it a priority for Dave to do that. I'm not sure what that all entailed, but Dave took the time and he mastered it, and he made that album thump hard as shit.
Yeah, like, that sounds good.
Like, I remember sitting in his studio for shit was like 2 days of just listening to the same songs over and over and over and taking notes, and he was adjusting shit and making it thump real hard, and you know, of course, telling me that we need some live instruments.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wrote it down. I was like,
but yeah,
because he tried. I mean, it's not a long story. You might as well talk about it real quick. He was trying to convince us to go, I don't know, on tour or just do some shows locally, but with a live band behind us, having them learn all our fucking music on actual instruments, and we were just like, nah, I ain't feeling it, basically.
Well, we would have had to pay them. That that was ultimately what it was for me, because I would love to have a live band. Like, like the vibe when we've had a live band with us, you know, with Bo Bandy and Mark on the drums. Like, dude, if we had them and Mark on the drums and a DJ, dude, we would be like unstoppable live. Yeah. We already are unstoppable, just microphone control and crowd control wise, but if we had live band and a DJ, it would be so fire.
Yeah. I mean, I guess thinking about it, you're right. Like, I mean, we were like, nah, just because like logistically, we were just like, I don't know, it sounds like a fucking nightmare, or at least to me it did. And then like, we had to pay them, but I mean, I was just, you know, assuming he would help us get gigs that paid, you know, hopefully like we weren't just like out of pocket trying to pay a band to fucking play with us. Like,
well, I got the vibe that I think he thought maybe Nick was gonna work out a deal to cover
to pay for the
artists learning our shit and playing our shit with us, but you know, shit didn't pan out one way or another. And but shout out to Dave Goodwin, because that album bangs for sure. And
so it was 2007 when you put Undisputed out. And so, like I said, you were promoting the fuck out of that. I remember flyers everywhere, but I mean, that's kind of your MO anyway, is fucking promoting the shit out of everything. So it wasn't nothing new, but same situation, man. Like, I'm sitting back making music with a fucking clown and like seeing you fucking do shit that I know is, you know, that should be us, really. But this kind of leads me to the next thing, is like, you're doing shit with Minx, and next thing I know, I don't even remember how I found out about it or what, but like next thing I know, you had taken a meeting in New York with Universal Music based off of the strength of our shit. Like, how did that fucking come about?
So, in the moment, how it came about was someone, and this is the stupidest shit ever, but it's pretty funny. At the time, you know, MySpace was still a big thing, right? And having your music on MySpace and people checking your shit out every day and you getting a certain amount of plays or whatever gave you a certain amount of clout locally. So one day I got this idea, and I'm like, you know, instead of having the title to my page say Filth and Foul or Nickel B or whatever, I'm going to change it and have it say Eminem, nope, Filth and Foul. Or, you know, and I would change it. Like every day I would change the title of my page and use someone else who was hot's name at that time. Yeah. And so people who would be doing a search trying to find shit would accidentally go to my page because the title had Eminem's name, or, you know, fucking 50 Cent or whatever rapper was hot at the time. So at one point, Do What You Like is getting like, I want to say like 50,000 plays or some tremendous, like ridiculous amount of plays, when like other local rappers are getting like 12 plays a day on their shit and like trying to figure out how the fuck to do it. But so we're getting mad plays on our shit, and it's starting to pile up and starting to get attention, and like I'm starting to get random messages, and then all of a sudden one day, it was like a Sunday, I get a message from a guy, and he claims to be an agent from South Carolina, and his name was Greg Epps, or that's what he said his name was. I don't know if it was or what, but
Mike Epps' brother. Greg.
So Greg Epps claims that he saw our shit and saw how many plays we were getting, and that he says, and you know, this is just in a MySpace message, but he messages me and he's like, if you can be in New York on Tuesday, I got you a meeting with Universal Records. He's like, you just need to get there. That's all you got to do. And so at that point, I'm broke as a joke, and I was actually working at Pepsi at the time. I was literally like
slanging them.
Yeah, I was
Pepsi pies,
pulling the damn cart around, making orders for, you know, grocery stores and shit. That's hanging out in the warehouse all day doing that shit. And I had probably only been there for like a couple of months, you know, and like, you know, it's during one of those times where like I just really needed to like get a fucking job and settle down. And of course, all of a sudden I gotta miss work on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because I'm going to New York to get a record deal.
And everybody was like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
at work.
Exactly. You know, the boss was not impressed or whatever. And when I got back, they had laid me off or whatever. And that was that. But
Laid you off.
yeah, exactly. But so we fly out to New York and we end up having, you know, like an hour-long meeting with Universal Records and a couple different people that worked for them. And it was fucking crazy, dude, going into this fucking building and sitting down, like that shit you always think about as an artist, like, you know, and it was super nerve-wracking, you know. It was me and Minx and Minx's mother.
Yeah.
And the coolest part about it was that, like, these guys sat down and they did fucking listen to everything that we brought. I want to say it was like an hour's worth of shit, and, you know, half of it was me and your shit.
Yeah.
Some of it was Minx, but ultimately they listened to it. They had questions, you know, and I was able to copy paste our resume into every answer, you know. And so like to these A&Rs, they looked at us like we were a finished product, you know. They didn't know that Minx wasn't the other half of Filth and Foul. They didn't put it all together. But as far as music wise, the way we presented ourselves, like, they were impressed, and they told us straight up during this interview, they're like, yo, we think you guys are great, and like, you know, we're gonna sign somebody at the start of the year. We're gonna sign somebody, and we're just trying to decide who we're gonna sign. And I don't even know why they brought it up at the time, but the dude, the agent, I want to say this A&R's name was Octavius Crouch.
Yeah, it is. That's what I was looking for over here.
Octavius Crouch, he says, yeah, there's this other dude that we're pretty interested in, but we just haven't made a decision yet. This guy, Asher Roth. And that was the first time I'd ever heard that name. And so, like, I had no idea
he wasn't
who
out
he was.
yet.
And so, you know, so we go back to Montana from that meeting, top of the world. We're thinking, you know, because they literally told us, they're like, yeah, we'll hit you back first of the year. Now, the meeting was in, like, it was, like, right before Thanksgiving. So it was, like, mid-November or some shit. And they're like, we get all of our funding the first of the year to sign somebody, so we'll be back in touch with you. And so I go home and I'm just playing the humble card, not going to call him, not going to bug him.
Yeah.
You know, I've got dude's phone number, but I'm not going to bug him. And so I never called him. And then, like, I want to say I got to, like, February, and finally I fucking called him. And he was like, yeah, man, we signed Asher Roth. We think he's going to be big. And he's got this song about college, and, you know. And then, sure enough, you know.
That he did.
I Love College came out, and, you know, and I was salty as fuck. I'll admit I was salty about that. But also the artist in me was like, okay, well, I'm going to buy his album, and I'm going to see for myself if it's terrible.
Yeah. I'm going to tear this shit apart.
I listened to the album, and I'll be honest, I liked it. I liked about half the songs.
Yeah.
Tosh and Trey, they're just little kids at the time, but they liked a lot of the songs. Yeah. The Lark on My Go-Kart shit, the kids really, I don't know why, but that was their jam. They really liked that one.
The Go-Kart, man.
And then, you know, I'll be honest with you, the last track on the album, he made a song about his father and what his father means to him, and, like, that song hit home to me right there. I couldn't hate on Asher Roth anymore. Yeah. Like, you know, and I even, prior to this, I think I dissed him on a song. I said some shit about Asher Roth. I said, oh yeah, I'm white like Asher Roth, minus the corn factor. Kid, I'll smash and toss. Yeah. So, like, I was sour about it, but then once I listened to the album, you know, I had respect for the shit that he had made, and in fact, that last song, I told him when we had him at Rappin' the Rivers, it was ironic that years later I booked him to be a headliner for the first Rappin' the Rivers.
Yeah.
And after his performance, maybe it was before. I think it was before his performance.
So.
We went and we talked and like for like 15, 20 minutes. And I told him at one point, like, I told him, I'm like, dude, you kind of swooped a record deal from me.
Shit, bro.
And the funny thing was he's like, dude, that record is not me. And he was like, honestly, signing that deal was probably, you know, it turned out well for me as far as fame and whatnot, but that wasn't his body of work that he wants to be known for at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to any shit he's put out since then, like it's way more like underground hip hop vibe than the. I mean, you know how the record biz is. They're trying to force you, you know, paint you into a fucking corner and make you be something that you might not necessarily want to be. But
constantly, I think he was like constantly stuck trying to top the poppiness of the I Love College song, and like, you know, the record label going, when are you going to do another one of these?
Another one.
Yeah, and I don't think that I don't think that served him well, but ultimately getting to meet him years later, and you know, I didn't get my record deal with Universal and it didn't pan out for shit, but getting to meet Asheroth years later and talk to him about that story was pretty funny.
For sure. No, he was super cool, super humble. Dude, ripped the show for sure. Yeah, I can't lie. Like, just seeing that photo though, that one hurt, bro. You know, seeing you and Minx standing in front of the Universal sign, that shit.
So,
like,
well,
I mean, I get out. You had to take that shit, but man, that's, you know, one of my big fucking regrets in my life is just not having been there. It probably would have panned out exactly the same, but I just didn't get to go there. So
yeah, I mean, there's no telling, dude. I mean, really, like, I feel like me and Minx as a combo is just kind of odd, you know. And when I say that, like, me and Minx we were a dope combo.
Oh no, you guys.
But at the same
killed it,
time,
bro.
like, I'm an older dude, been in the game a long time, MC, and like he's like a younger dude with like a very different vibe and energy. And so like me and you, the way that we work together and came from the same era and shit, it's just like it just makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And you know, ultimately when we end up going back, the same guy, Greg Epps, the same guy starts, you know, after that meeting starts finding us beats from different random producers and having us like make different songs, and he's still kind of like, I don't know what Minx's mom was giving Greg for being our agent at that time, but there was some sort of an agreement that we didn't really know about, and it was all taken care of by Minx's mom. She was super dope, trying to get us to the next level. But
oh yeah, man.
At some point Greg asked us to come to New York again, and so I want to say that about a year later we go to New York again, and this time we're supposed to have meetings with Def Jam, J Records, Atlantic. Oh fuck! And there was one more. There's one more I can't remember. Oh, fucking. Rough Riders. We're supposed to meet with all four of those, and we're supposed to stay for a week, or we're supposed to get there on Tuesday and stay until Saturday, right? And dude just doesn't show up. He never shows up. And so me, Minx, and his mom are hanging out in New York from Tuesday until, and I think we're actually supposed to leave Friday, but yeah, we end up basically just trying to make the best of it. Dude just flakes and never talks to us again. Like we still to this day have no idea what happened to Greg Epps, but he sent us on a goose chase and we didn't get no meetings in New York. But one of, like, for me, like, me and you have done a ton of fucking really dope shows that I could never, you know, top some of those experiences playing for, you know, 6,000 people when we're opening up for Lil Jon and fucking G Unit and all those guys. Like, that's hard to replace. But the one dope ass thing that came out of this trip to New York that was a complete bust up until the last night, right? We're supposed to fly out the next morning, And I want to say like midnight, me and Minx are still up, and we're just like kind of pissed about. We couldn't even find any real weed in New York either to smoke, right? Motherfuckers selling us phone book paper and weird shit. But and then when we did find some weed, it was terrible. But you know, we're trying to make the best of this fucking trip, and we end up going out the last night, and somehow we end up running into this rap artist named Squala Orphan, right? And Squala Orphan was like dope. Freestyle, like kind of reminded me of dude kind of like looked like Future. He looked like Future in fucking 8 Mile, but Squala Orphan was spitting freestyles and like busting raps on the corner in Times Square, right? And all of a sudden, there's like a crowd forming around him, and me and Minx are just like, you know, we're the only white people there. The crowd's fucking forming, and all of a sudden, dude's like, motions for us to come over. He's like, y'all can come over here if y'all trying to get in, you know? And next thing you know, me and Minx are out there freestyling, busting some written bars and shit, but like ciphering in New York City where hip-hop actually started. You know, not out here where we're trying to make it live, but where fucking hip-hop started. And like, we end up just spitting rhymes for like, I don't know, probably an hour out there with a random group of probably at some point, I'm going to say 15, 20 people were out there. And then as people were walking by, they were checking it out. And, you know, like, you know, hooting and hollering about fucking, about rap shit happening on the spot, on the street in Times Square. And shit was dope. And then all of a sudden, we end up meeting some guy who's a concert promoter, and he's got a show coming the next day. It's like a local showcase that he was putting together. And he's like, my lineup's full, but if you guys are out here from Montana, you know, we basically talked our way into getting onto this showcase. And, you know, on no notice, we were able to get our fucking shit together and perform at this showcase. Now, me and Minx end up... So Scorpio from what is it, the Furious Five or whatever? Yeah. So he's hosting this show, and it's just like supposed to be some local talent show, mind you.
Oh, so it was actually him.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you got.
So
I had that all.
So that was like the only famous person that had anything to do with that show whatsoever that was there, but he was like hosting the show and putting people on, and me and Minx are there, and the show's about to start, and they're like, we want to kick this show off right. Does anyone want to kick a freestyle? And nobody stepped up. Now, mind you, me, Minx, and his mother are the only white people there. Yeah. Everyone is of some other ethnicity, and we are sticking out like sore thumbs. And all of a sudden, no one stepping up, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll step up. Yeah. And I think they were thinking that I was gonna spit something and then hand it off. I ended up taking the entire first beat, just slaughtered it. Yeah. Then Minx comes up and he does the same thing, and no one else is coming up at all. So we kill this shit. People are you could tell there was like kind of already like an energy about like, these dudes just showed up here and did that, you know, people were like interested. Yeah. So they put the first act on, not too many people pay attention. They put the second act on, not too many people paying attention. And then they put us on, and it was like we were already famous. It was so fucking crazy, man. Like, me and Minx tore the fuck out of that place. Like, you know, all the shows that we've done out here, I feel like we were performing for people that were afraid to enjoy themselves at this event. They were afraid to be that first person to come up. Dude, everybody in this fucking venue, including the other artists, and you don't really ever see that. Everybody came up to the front and was like, dude, it just looked like some otherworldly shit, dude. Yeah. Like, hip-hop was thoroughly alive in that motherfucker. And, like, during our performance, like, the energy was just through the roof. And for me, like, I never really get nervous, but that right there, doing a show where hip-hop started.
You want to come fucking correct.
I knew there was 10 other groups or whatever on this fucking show that were all going to be judging what we did. And, you know, being white from Montana, 2 strikes against us already.
Yeah, maybe like, 3.
Yeah. But we end up killing it, and like no exaggeration, we get done and people are coming up asking for autographs, and they have already introduced the next act. No one's paying any attention. We straight up ruined the show.
Yeah.
The next act, no one paid attention. The next act, no one paid attention. Everybody come to where we were at the bar. The owner of this bar was some Russian dude, and he comes up. He's like, "You guys are one of the best acts that we've had at this bar in 2 years." And
That's
he's
sick.
like, "You guys," he's like, "the way you do your shit."
Yeah.
And the whole difference was we didn't have backup vocals on our shit. We were holding the mics to our mouth, and you could hear what the fuck we were saying. The other acts that did perform that night, they were bopping around, fucking doing the classic shit where they're rapping right over their tracks, and they were holding the mic literally like this far away.
Yep.
And it was just like, it was like we had showed up at like fucking amateur night and just fucking showed them what professional shows look like, you know? Like, so if it was me and you, it would have been even, you know, it would have been even more of a fucking show out.
That'd have been dope.
But yeah, dude, we slaughtered that show and made the most of that trip, and we never heard from old Greg Epps again.
Man,
And
fuck Greg Epps.
yeah, you know, eventually I was planning on moving out to California. I actually went out to Cali, searched for a house out there. This is crazy. The only time I've ever been away from my kids for more than like 2 weeks. I was out there for like 2.5 weeks trying to find a house so that we can move out there. And like, dude, I'm so glad that I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, basically, as soon as I decided not to, I mean, because I wouldn't have had any network out there. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have had
starting from scratch.
So my sons would have been alone every time that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Which means I'm like limited on how much I could get done. You know, it just would have been a total fucking mess.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what it is. All the times that we didn't take a risk to move somewhere else and do something like. Yeah, I just had too much responsibility for so many years of our career together. Like I was just kind of, you know, grounded, so to speak.
Too much
But yeah,
responsibility.
big shout out to Minx. I hope he's doing well. I heard that he got married.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I tried to get in touch with him a few times, and like I just haven't heard back from him. But I heard that he got married. I want to say 2021. So hopefully things are good with him. I still talk to Vicky once in a while. You know, I still consider her like family. Like she always treated me like family for sure. Yeah. Super nice lady.
I remember when we went out and did that Devin the Dude show on fucking Sunset.
Yeah.
And she was always hella cool. She would like give us her buddy passes because she worked at Delta, and just I remember flying out there. I think you were either out there already or you came after.
I was already out there, and you flew out.
So I flew out with Minx, and I remember just like flying with Minx's mom, and we're like up. We had good ass seats too, like right up front. And we were fucking doing the crossword puzzle together and shit. Like,
the funniest shit I remember about that trip was I told Trey, I'm like, get a bag, get your stuff ready. You're coming out here. You know, Shane's gonna get you, and Vicky and Shane are gonna bring you out here.
Yeah.
And he gathers up all of his stuff into a bag that had been in our garage getting pissed on by our cats.
Yeah, nice.
And so like he shows up, and I remember I'm like, what the fuck is that smell? It smells like cat piss.
Damn.
And I like made my way, like sniffed my way to this fucking leather bag that had been cat pissed on like 1,000 times. I don't even know where that bag came from.
Wow.
I don't know where that bag came from, but that motherfucker was cat piss central.
Yeah, damn.
And I remember we went to Ross, and I ended up buying Trey all new shit to wear while we were out there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fun times.
But yeah, shout out Minx, shout out Vinx.
Going back to that period of time, I remember you put the album out Undisputed originally by yourself, then we re-released it like what, fucking
4 years back,
4 years ago or some shit.
4 or 5 years ago.
And there was a song called Go Again on there, and you know, we weren't we weren't working together, and there were issues there, and you put some of that in the song, and obviously, like, you don't want to hear your partner talking shit about you or whatever. It wasn't even shit. It was just whatever was going on at the time. But I remember when we went to re-release that, you were like, we should take that off, and I was like, nah, dude, we gotta leave that shit on there. That song is dope. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember that conversation, but
yeah, I do.
Because I was like, it sucked we weren't working together, and it sucks that, like, you felt. I mean, you felt how you felt, so I know how you work. Like, you're gonna air your shit out in a song because that's what you fucking do.
Yeah, I mean,
like, music is our shit. So, like,
therapy.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I just remember, hearing it for the first time, and felt how I felt. But I couldn't deny it was like a dope ass song. You know what I mean? Like,
I kind of, I didn't write it with any angst. I wrote it out of like a heartache.
Yeah, you weren't just like, you weren't like, fuck you, this and that. You were like,
it wasn't a battle song. It was like a man. I hope you know that this is what it meant.
Yeah.
To not work with you anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll be honest. I felt like when we weren't working together, I really feel like in my entire life, if I ever was in like a situation where I felt like almost it's like a relationship, no gay shit. I'm just saying it's like a relationship that you broke, like you broke up with me. Like, we ain't working together no more. And like, I couldn't find any spite in that. I could only find heartache that I like wasn't able to keep working with you, because ultimately I had no beefs with you. I felt like your lady hated me, and the way that I lived at that time, I was out fucking hella hoes, partying and being a dumb fuck, and like I was that guy. Yeah. That's the guy I was. Yeah. So like, your lady in a certain sense was doing right by not wanting you to be around me, because my life at that point was it was pure fuckery, smoke as much weed and drink and fucking fuck hella hoes and try to fucking drag you into my messes and shit. So like, ultimately it's just the same as like, when I fucking when I break up with females one way or another, and then I end up making these songs later on to get it off my chest. Yeah. It's almost the same shit. Like, I just needed to get it out there, and I wanted for you to hear the song and for you to be like, man, this motherfucker actually does care about me.
I mean,
like, I hope that was the ending result.
Oh, for sure.
Because when I made that song, I did not like, and even when we weren't working together, I was never ever like, yeah, fuck that dude. Yeah. I've never at any point felt that way about it. I was just like, man, that bitch, and like, whether it's all. I mean,
we
fault,
might as well talk a little bit about it, but it was never a situation of like somebody making me. Well, I didn't quit making music. That's the thing. We were doing hella shows. Dirt was being done. I wasn't innocent either, but I was in a fucked up relationship. Yeah. Fucked up relationship. Mm-hmm. Dirt's being done to me, you know what I mean? So it just got to a point like it was just like too much having to cover, like I would get back, your lady would have already been talking to my lady the whole fucking time we were gone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. So I didn't even dude. I dreaded coming back from fucking a weekend away doing shows and shit, because I already knew
this shit was gonna hit the fan.
I knew we had to get our story straight.
Oh man!
First of all, we had to get our fucking story straight.
To be young again.
But I mean, it was just like, man, I'm tired of like having to answer these fucking. Besides my bullshit relationship I'm having to deal with anyway, I'm just like, I'm tired of having to fucking answer for another relationship. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, it was too much to keep track of.
It was just like, dude, this is music. Yeah. Music was not fun at that point. You know what I mean? It was fun doing the like performing was fun, but it was fun for the 45 minutes to an hour we were on stage. And then, like, after that, it was just like, don't pick your phone up because you already got fucking 20 text messages that are just pure fucking hate.
Drama.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, it took all the fun out of music at that time, dude. And it was just like, I just needed a fucking break from just like the stress of it.
The fuckery.
We just had to hit the reset button. I hit the reset button in the wrong way by making music with a fucking straight up clown.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah. No,
But at the time, it wasn't a plan of mine to work with dude. I mean, you know, he did shows with us and shit.
He definitely was working his magic.
Yeah, he saw like a free agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was the free agent signing. Yeah.
Yeah, he
swooped in and he's like, man, I'm really trying to get to the next level. Let's take some credibility and fucking somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. And, you know, so like he swooped in and I couldn't even be mad about that. But like the whole thing with that is like me and you both knew that motherfucker was like a little prissy, rich kid, fucking spoiled little fucking silver spoon.
Yeah.
Rapping about fucking his bitch's titties and Escalades. You know, like we both knew that. And so I was like, why the fuck would he even waste his talent rapping with this fucking clown?
Yeah. Well, how it even started was just he like asked me to be on some shit. And I did that, and you know, it just kind of snowballed into like, well, let's make some more, you know, let's make more songs. And then it was like, well, shit, the one thing I will give him is he was like serious. It was like all he thought about. He was just like, fucking, let's fucking go, and which was a great distraction at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me to pour my energy into some other shit, but it was like. But it was hard to make music with that dude because I don't, like you said, the titties and this and that. I'm like, I'm in his, you know, he's got his bedroom studio or whatever, and I'm back there listening to him rap about all these bitches he's fucking and this and that.
Meanwhile, he's in a relationship.
Meanwhile, his lady is like
a box. She's in the next room,
sleeping on the couch in the living room.
Yeah.
There's no way she's not hearing these fucking songs. Yeah. And I get, like, there's an entertainment aspect to music.
Yeah.
But...
He's serving more Whoppers than Burger King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was hard. And just, like, the subject matter was just, like... The beats weren't my style, you know. He would download fucking...
Sprinkler beats?
Yeah, he'd download, like, 40 beats and then send me home with them shits. And I'd try to pick something that... I could stomach, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And going back and listening to my shit that I spit on those songs was like, this is not my best shit. And I mean, I just blame like not being inspired and like trying to cater to some shit that I just don't fucking do, man. So, but yeah, like I said, he was definitely motivated to steal our contact information.
Yep. Well, the thing about that was, dude hit me up, and he's like, yo, man, like, what can you do to get me a manager? He's like, I want to fucking hire a manager. And I'm like, well, I can put you in touch with Steve Lobel. Like, I got his phone number, like, right now. Like, but, like, I want 10% if you end up working something out with him and he becomes your manager, I want 10% of whatever contract you guys work out. And he's like, cool. And then so I call Steve and I tell Steve the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I want 10% if y'all work something out.
Yeah.
And he's like, cool. I was literally in California at Minx's house when I took care of that call. And Steve, he's like, yeah, man, I'll give you 10%, whatever I work out if I work something out with this kid.
Yeah. And for people that don't know, Steve Lobel is like the biggest fucking hip hop manager. Like,
yeah, I mean, Nipsey Hussle, Mariah Carey,
back to Run DMC and shit like that.
I mean, Sean Kingston, all kinds of big names he's managed.
Yeah.
Bone Thugs.
Yeah, well,
and that's ironically how we know him is from doing shows with Bone Thugs back in the day and meeting him. And I think I gave Steve directions because he's got a family member in Big Fork, and he was gonna go visit. The first time that we met him, we were playing a show in Missoula with Bone Thugs, I want to say, or the first time that we talked to him.
Yeah.
And he the next day he had plans to go to Big Fork, and so I gave him directions on how to get there or whatever, and that was kind of like how we started talking to each other and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, shit. Back on track. What was I saying?
Shit. Back to him wanting.
So Steve Lobel,
a manager,
supposed to give me 10% of any deal that he strikes up with Jesta James, the Joker.
I'm gonna bleep that shit out.
Bleep that out.
Joker lames.
Joker lames. So he gets. I give him dude's contact info. They get in touch with each other, and from what I was told, they whipped up a pretty large deal.
Yeah.
The kind of deal that they both would have owed me $40,000, and neither of them spoke to me ever again after.
Oh yeah, dude.
All that took place, and I mean, and these, I've seen, dude. I saw him walking down by the Federal Building, like by downtown.
Yeah.
I saw him park his car and get out, and we walked on the same sidewalk. And I'm walking towards him with the like, "What's up?" And he literally like looked down and just kept walking past me, and I'm like, "What's up?"
Yeah. Nothing.
Crickets.
Yeah, last time I saw him was at the Ridge, back when I had a membership there, and he tried to fucking come talk to me at the fucking water fountain or some shit, and I just gave him the cold shoulder. I'm not gonna lie, like there was a point where like I liked dude at one point, you know what I mean? Like we knew what he was. We always knew what he was. But I didn't mind him,
Well, I'll say this, Jesse, he wasn't a bad friend to me. There's kind things that he did in the past for me and my family that was cool. Did a handful of shows with him and shit. Like, I didn't dislike the guy, but when it comes down to it, let me circle the wagons here. Let me go back, because I'm really forgetting like a big thing here.
Yeah.
So the whole time that I'm friends with Jesse, he's quick to tell me that he doesn't think Filth and Foul will ever make it. That rapping about Montana isn't the move.
Yeah.
And that it's just not his thing.
Yeah.
And the entire time that Dusty Dillsnick has existed, this dude thought Dusty Dillsnick was the most clever, cool shit ever. And dude is not. Dude's more like a Jersey Shore, like Jester James is like a Jersey Shore kind of dude.
Well,
he's not.
He's
country.
from fucking Massachusetts.
He's not country or anything.
About as country as he is his dad. I don't know. I think his parents were divorced or whatever. Is that right? His dad lived up Kelly Canyon,
right?
Which you got to have some loot to live up there.
Yeah,
that's in the trees. I'll give him that. That's about that's about as country as dude is living in the fucking forest.
Yeah,
because his dad had a big ass fucking house up there. That's the end of the country. If you want to talk country,
for sure. So
I could open these windows and you could see this is the country.
Yeah,
right here.
So dude had no affiliation with country whatsoever, and he used to tell me, I'm not really, I don't think you should focus on your Filth and Foul shit. Dusty Dillsnick is like,
the look.
Yeah. So he liked Dusty, and he liked the idea of a country rapper from Montana. He thought it was clever.
Yeah.
And he was always kind of pushing me towards pushing Dusty Dillsnick's shit.
Yeah.
And so then when I put him in touch with Lobel, suddenly he's going to be Jester James instead of the Jesta. He becomes Jester James, the country rapper from Montana.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, he's not comedy like Cousin Dusty, but still, like, just suddenly to be a country rapper from Montana when you were not, you were Jersey Shore rapper from Montana, or, living in Montana from Massachusetts or wherever the fuck you moved here from. went from rapping about fucking hoes and how big your rims are on your Escalade to suddenly you're country now.
Yeah.
And you're a outlaw. You make outlaw country
music.
Outlaw country music. And it's like, I'm not even trying to be salty. It's just like, okay, if that's what you're going to make yourself into, okay.
Yeah.
But you're acting, and you have to know that that's acting.
See,
like you're not an authentic country rapper or country artist. You live smack dab in the middle of town.
Yeah.
Like.
See, I never realized he said that shit about our group and that he loved Dusty so much.
Yeah, he never thought Filth and Foul.
I never understood how he got to that country shit.
He took an idea and our connection.
Yeah. Well, let me circle the
washed his
motherfucking
hands with it.
Let me go back. I'm making music with dude, and he is talking about like I said, he was serious, and he was like trying to get money. He's like talking about borrowing money from people and trying to get like 100,000 or whatever the fuck the number was from people. And I'm just like, I'm like, I'm living, I'm getting by, but like I'm not gonna like borrow $100,000 from somebody that I gotta pay back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm just like. I started getting hesitant about just like moving forward with dude because I'm like, when money starts getting involved, like shit's getting serious, and then
like you wouldn't have already done that for Filth and Foul.
Yeah, you think I would like
move.
Nah? Okay, if somebody wants to invest in us, that's another thing. But I'm not gonna go borrow $100,000 and then we have this term oil buddy money because I think what it ended up where it came from was his dad and his. Like essentially his oil buddies and shit.
Yeah,
I think that's where the funding came from. I don't fucking know.
You got that oil buddy money.
We got that oil buddy money.
Got that oil buddy money.
So that'll be coming out soon. But so it starts going that direction, and then you obviously gave him this connection at some point, and then the next thing I know, he didn't even tell me he was taking this trip. He told me when he got back that he flew to fucking LA and went to Steve Lobel's house and had a fucking meeting with him. And he's like, oh, Vivica Fox lived next door and shit. Like, that's his neighbor and this and that. And he's like telling me how Steve's got like a photo album on his coffee table and there's pictures of Run DMC and this and that and there. And it's just like, that was the end of it for me, bro. It was just like,
yeah.
He started talking about money, then he just like, went and took this trip, and we're supposed to be like a group or whatever the fuck we were making music together.
So, from the outside during that era, like I kind of knew what was going on, and I remember seeing the videos. Somehow I ended up with a DVD of your guys' videos. Yeah, I think Joker gave it to me or some shit. But it was
probably
like 2 music videos that y'all made, and
yeah.
like I can't lie, I thought they were all right. They were good music videos. They were professional and shit.
Yeah. I mean,
but
put money.
I'm sitting there going, this motherfucker just used Shane to make a fucking demo, probably make a few songs, make a few videos, used his credibility, used our contacts, and then he's gonna fucking wash his hands of him. I already fucking knew it. Yeah. I don't know if you just stepped back and didn't work with him no more. But I had a feeling that he was literally just gonna, because at that point he had stopped talking to me as well. He wasn't like returning any of my calls or texts.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember how it all went down. Like, I was so disgusted and turned off by the situation that I was just like, bro, I'm not. Like, if you did that shit to me, I'm just gonna go meet with like the most powerful fucking manager about our shit or whatever, and you just told me when you got back, like
you could assume that I'm trying to get some side shit.
Yeah, so I was just like, fuck, I'm done with this bullshit, dude. Like, fuck this. And then, I mean, his plan might have been, the old hand wash or whatever, but I just stopped fucking with them. you know, I don't, like I said, it's been so long. I don't remember, like, I feel like it was pretty immediate that I was just like, fuck this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, at one point I considered dude a friend, but after that, like, I hold grudges, man. Like, I'll never be cool with that guy again.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, at this point, him and fucking Steve Lobel both owe me money. So why the fuck would I want to fucking be cool with either of them?
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I see dude, I want to punch him in his fucking face. Like 40 grand's a lot of money, you know? And like,
For sure.
people don't just give those kind of connections away. 10% is a fucking industry standard fee for booking of any sort. So, you know, when you put this guy in touch with this guy that he would have never got in touch with directly if you weren't in the mix,
Yep.
then that's booking. That's 10%, especially when we talked about that shit. You know, like, I'm willing to give up connections, but if you know,
Yeah.
there was no way I would literally just give that away. You know, because then we'd be sitting there going, oh, well, this motherfucker had more money than we did, even though our talent's better than his.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be in that position because he had oil buddy money.
Oil buddy
Like,
money.
you know, and you know, you can say why be sour about that, but you know, because dude didn't fucking pay the 10% fee.
Man. Yeah, dude. I mean, dude's a snake, man. That's all I can say about it. I don't. Yeah. Honestly, at this point, it's just kind of like a joke to me, you know.
Well,
like, I don't seek his shit out, but every once in a while, like, I'll come across it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what the fuck? What are you making, bro? What is this?
Yeah, and it's
what are
just
these like
mini film, like trying to look like fucking Young Guns regurgitation, fucking reenactment. I don't even know what the last shit I saw was fucking horrendous.
I told you I'm not gonna say who.
Garbage.
Oh yeah, but I told you about this. I'm not gonna say who told me or who the person is, but I was told that when he was making those, and I thought you were a cowboy, bro. I thought you were a fucking outlaw.
Yeah.
What is it? But I was told, like, obviously, like, there's people that rent their animals out, their horses, to make these fucking videos. Yeah. And dude was so, like, just shitty at handling this animal that, like, the person that, like, rented his horse to fucking homeboy didn't ever want him to fucking use him as a connection again.
Damn.
Because, like, he did not know what the fuck he was doing. He was just, like, a dickhead. I mean, this is what I was told from a super credible source very close to me. So,
yeah. Yup.
I mean, shit, bro. If you grew up with the horses and the country, and you should know what the fuck you're doing, bro.
It shouldn't be a thing.
But
yeah, I mean, the only person I know that can really vouch for what he's done since he started this country shit that he's doing or whatever. Goodwin told me that homeboy's just known in Nashville as a complete fucking clown.
Yeah.
Like that he bought his way there and that he has no place amongst those artists that are doing significant shit there.
He's spent some bucks. I know that.
Yeah. Well, you know, tax write-off is ultimately what that probably is for somebody. Like, I don't know why anyone would be investing in that shit. And if people are buying it, you know, congrats to him for finding a way to make that shit work.
Man.
I just remember his bad singing ass. Trying to fucking pretend he could sing back when he was rapping. He'd sing a hook or two.
Yeah.
And fucking be sounding, you know, pretty shitty.
Well, if his lady wasn't on the hook.
Yeah, I mean, if no shit. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's another story.
Yeah. Yo, I was thinking I'd get my lady on the hook.
Yeah.
Old ass.
Well, fuck. He doesn't deserve any more of our fucking breath.
He's one of them. I'm gonna get my lady on the hook, old ass fools. Get my lady on the hook, ass fools.
It's cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, shit. It is cheaper, you know.
Yeah.
But every hook?
Everyone.
Dude, I was thinking, and it's funny, like, you know, you come through and, like, it would be like some sort of surprise. No, I'm about to tell you that I'm gonna have my lady sing the hook. Right?
Let me guess.
I was thinking I might have my lady sing the hook.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good look.
Yeah.
Wow. Every fucking song.
Every fucking song, dude.
Fuck them. Since we lost the Joker part, it's like the universe trying to protect that fool. It's like the camera will die now.
Like I said,
he paid somebody.
No, even if the whole angle is just like over my shoulder while I'm telling it,
yeah,
that's fine. The story still
we got
remains.
It. If not, we can tell it again.
The story remains.
The story can be told again.
The dude is an imposter. Definitely not from Montana.
Yeah.
He definitely took advantage of both me and you in a different sense. You know,
for sure.
He basically used everything that me and you took time to earn. He used it, didn't even compensate us for it, didn't even get the, not even the 10% that I had asked him for if he got Steve Lobel involved.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, the dude needs a punch in the lunch. That's the only way to solve that one. Yeah. And, I've had people step up over the years and be like, yeah, man, you still cool with? And when I run into those people, I'm like, that dude owes me a lot of fucking money. Or at least an explanation as to why he would take our fucking resume and copy paste it basically and have been given a very nice favor from a friend and then not even, literally just wash his hands of me, not give me the 10%, wash his hands of you after using your guys' music videos and fucking songs to convince whoever gave him all the fucking money that he's put into this project. Yeah. He literally used it all up and then, tried to act like he's not even from or living in this area, like he's supposedly some fucking, artist in Nashville now. It's like, dude, hell to the no.
Oh, hell to the no.
Like to some extent, you can probably buy your way in, but as far as the talent goes, I just don't feel like it's there. Whether he fucking owes me anything or not, I just don't think so. I'm not buying it.
Yeah. I know this term isn't acceptable anymore, but the wife beaters, the wife beaters and the drop tops and the titties, just saying they're only gonna get you so far, bro.
Dude, well, and here's the saddest part. I liked him better when it was wife beaters and how big the rims were on his Escalade. I liked him better.
Well, he's still. I mean, I haven't seen shit in a while. I would assume he hasn't given up on that look completely, but.
I don't know, man. I got
the classics never die, right?
Yeah, I know. Everything I've seen from him lately, it's like he's trying to look like old John Bernthal or some shit.
Oh yeah. Like he's going. I like that dude as an actor.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he can really. He's
act. Him.
That's John Bernthal.
That's him.
That's John. That's
you
the
are
real
not
one.
Him, bro.
That's the real one.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he was tweeting about being on the farm with his big blue ox. And meanwhile, that big blue farm, or the big blue ox, the big blue ox and the farm, you know where that was? Mineral Avenue.
Yeah. Dead center.
Oh, Dead Center Bozeman. Damn, what a farm it is.
Oh, boy.
What a farm it is.
Well, shit.
I just don't know.
I think we wasted enough time on his ass.
Yeah.
But yeah. I feel like a lot of shit happened during that, like those 2 years or however long it was, around 2007. And like most people that know our shit know that like we used to do hella shows with Tech Nine and Strange Music.
Yep.
And I feel like we used to have a pretty good relationship with them, but. During that period, something happened to where they stopped fucking with us. I wasn't there, so I only know the story like through you and other people that homies that were at the show. Like what exactly happened with that shit?
So, prior to this show, me and you had probably rocked, I'm just going to guess, 20 shows with Tech
probably
over the years, between Washington shows, Idaho shows, and Montana shows. I guess between 15 and 20 shows that we rocked with them, and they always treated us like family. And I feel like, I got photos of Tech holding both my kids when they were young, and like, yeah, they treated us like family. Even Travis was like hella cool to us back in the day.
Yeah.
Always like super solid. And, it got to the point where we were playing all the time with Tech every time. And like every time that we saw each other, he was like very, and he like would always embrace us like we were next up, and this was before Strange Music was signing all these different acts and kind of like growing as a label or whatever. But I feel like we were definitely on the inside of things. And then at one point during those years when me and you weren't working together, I got a show with Tech and Paul Wall, Fire and Ice Tour, I think is what it was called. But we got a show and we went out to Boise and played at the Knitting Factory. And during the show, so I guess I got to back up. So we go to sound check. Mind you, a lot of people that be on shows don't go to sound check. We went to sound check because remember what we used to do back in the day? If we were scheduled to have a 20-minute set, we would show up to sound check. We would ask all the production managers and the sound guys if there's any way we could squeak extra time in.
Yep.
Because if we were performing first on the bill, like if doors opened up at 6:30 and we were going to be the first act going on at 7, I looked at that as a half hour of you guys are going to be playing someone's fucking CD or playing an MP3 or, just playing
or nothing.
Or just silence while people are walking in the doors. And so I would always use that as a way to fucking get us extra time on shows. And like I always did, I went to the guy at sound check and I was like, hey man, we came all the way from Montana.
Yep.
I know that we go on at 7, but is there a chance that we could start at 6:45? And I don't know if those are these exact times, but I found a way to pull 15 more minutes.
It usually
out of
worked though.
Yeah, it did usually work. If we were first and there was dead time before, it usually worked. They didn't give a fuck. And they would always, especially if we had traveled, they were quick to give us that extra time.
Yeah,
but
y'all can do it.
But so this time was no different. They said that we could do it. Now, mind you, and I don't care. I'll throw them right under the bus on this because the truth of it all starts with Killisea and Liquid Assassin performing as Grave Plot. They didn't show up to sound check, and if they did, it was after we had already sound checked and got that permission. So we got that permission, and at this time, it's me and Chris and Minx all performing a group set as Filth and Foul with Minx. Okay. Right? That's what it ended up being for this particular show. And so we get the green light to perform the extra time. We go up there. We start at 6:45. We go till 7. I think we had till 7:20. So we ended up getting, a 35-minute set or whatever. And so I want to say, I don't know, about halfway into our set, there's a curtain across the side stage, and it keeps opening up, and I keep seeing Killisea and Liquid Assassin, and they look sour as fuck.
Yeah.
They're like pissed, and they don't understand that we've asked for extra time. And not only are we not cutting into their set time,
they hadn't looked at their watch to see what time it actually was.
They saw, all they knew is that we seemed to be going for a long time, but I don't think they ever looked at the real time, show time or whatever. But they get salty and they go say something to people, and the next thing you know, now mind you, we get pretty close to the end of our set, but we've been motioned numerous times by Killisea or Liquid Assassin that, just making it feel like we're supposed to be getting off,
Yeah.
And eventually Joe Vertigo, Joe Vertigo, am I saying that right? I want to say his name is Joe Vertigo. Yep. He was the security guard for Strange Music.
Yep.
A big ass dude, but he comes over to that curtain, opens it up, and he gives me the, like, you're done.
Yeah.
And so at that point, we found a good spot to stop the set. We stopped. We thanked everyone, and I believe that I did the Filth and Foul shout out thing.
Yeah.
Maybe took 30 more seconds.
Yeah.
To like say goodbye and do the Filth and Foul shout out, but we get done and we start walking off stage, and Joe Vertigo comes out and he's like, "Yo, man, they want to talk to you over by Paul Wall's merch booth." Now, mind you, Paul Wall had been 15 feet away with his all of his merch set up, and he was waiting for his show, but he was selling his merch himself.
Yeah.
So
he was always said,
Yeah, he was forced to watch our whole set, right? And so
I already know you're thinking,
and I'm thinking,
yo,
man,
let's meet at Paul Wall's merch booth because there are good things waiting for you.
I'm thinking something.
They liked your shit.
Thinking something good's gonna happen, and so we walk over there, and instead of Paul Wall talking to us, like all of a sudden, like everybody who worked for Strange Music security wise and Joe Vertigo all surrounded me.
Converged on you.
Me and Minx. They all surrounded us. Joe Vertigo starts screaming in my face, and he's like, "You said fuck Strange Music. You just yelled it on the microphone. You said fuck Strange Music." And I'm like,
what?
And so I was so speechless because I didn't say that I didn't know what to say, so I didn't respond.
Yeah.
And like it was literally like a 10-second pause, and I was trying to think of what I should say because, you know, I would never have done that. I would never, after all the cool shit they've done for us and putting us on hella shows. Before there was pay to play, they were putting us on shows for free. Sometimes we'd get paid for that shit. Like they treated us well. I would never have done that. Never. And so for him to be in my face yelling and literally like this close to my face, spitting on me and telling me that I said fuck Strange Music.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to fucking, you know, I didn't want to start throwing bombs or try and fight my way out of it. And next thing you know, more people are coming that work for Knitting Factory, different security people.
Yeah.
And I'm still not really realizing what's going on, but they've already said that we took extra time.
Yeah.
Like Killisy and Liquid Assassin said we took extra time, so they threw a fucking fit.
Yep.
And so they got security in there because Joe Vertigo was getting worked up and whatnot. And since I didn't know what to say, he got really pissed. And he's like, "You know what? You're fucking out of here. All y'all." And he starts pointing at everyone who was with us.
Yeah.
And they had given us those stickers to put on our shirts that said Knitting Factory.
Yeah.
So we had blue ones. And those blue ones got us access to go to the backstage where all of our coats and the chicks who were with us, their purses, like all of our shit.
All your shit.
Like we had our own backstage. It was legit.
Yeah,
right. But it was middle of fucking winter time, and all of our shit was in that. They went and sought out. They looked for everyone who had one of those patches, and they kicked everyone out in the fucking snow.
Yeah.
And you know, sob story goes, it's snowing fucking snowflakes like this big.
Yeah.
None of us have our coats. They kicked out women. They kicked out Minx's mother. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and for us being from Montana at that time, like Minx probably had 25 people that had came from Montana for the show. Like, you know, some people flew there for the show.
Yeah.
Like it was legit.
Big
like
deal.
we had support, but yeah, they kicked us out. Next thing you know, Grave Plot is on stage. We're out in the fucking snow, and they're using my fucking CDJ to perform their set.
Yeah.
And so we're having to sit there, right? So I pull out my phone, and I'm like, okay, well, let me nip this in the butt. I can call Travis myself.
Yeah.
So I call Travis, and I'm like, Travis, you know we wouldn't have done that. Like, dude is tripping out. We never said that shit. And he's like, well, my homeboy says that you did. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go one step further. Up in the balcony, there's a dude recording the entire show. He's been recording since fucking sound check. Like, I'm watching it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can see it from the time that you guys kicked me out. He's still fucking recording. Go up there.
Yeah.
Review the footage. See what fucking happened, man. Because there's no way that I, on any occasion, said fuck Strange Music. Especially on the microphone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what dude said that we did. He said that as we were walking off stage, I yelled fuck Strange Music on the microphone, which never happened. Like, just plain and simple, just never happened.
Nah, man.
And so I told Travis to run it back and look at the footage. I don't know if he ever did.
I doubt it.
I called Killer C shortly after that, and like, you know, once I got my CDJ back, we were out of there. But I called Killer C and I was like, dude, what the fuck, bro? Like, we got permission, man. And he's like, I don't give a fuck, man. He's like, it don't make us look good when you're performing half-hour set or whatever. And like, you know, I don't know if that's really what he was pissed about, but he fucking basically, he's like, you got to take it up with Travis. And I was like, it's on footage, man. Why can't you? I was like, you know I didn't say that shit. Why can't you fucking tell him I didn't say that shit? And he's like, man, that's on him. That's on Travis. And so, like, no one ever reviewed the footage. Killer C, who, like, could have vouched for me, didn't vouch for me.
Yeah. You guys had mad history.
And we do have mad history. I mean, fuck. Like, I remember, like, the first time that I met Tech N9ne, I remember mentioning Killer C because Killer C used to buy verses and features and all that shit from him for years. And I remember him saying, "Yeah, Killer C, that's my Nilla."
Yep. Yeah, shit. Wasn't that we got a beat, right?
Yeah,
the Technico Bros or
Technico
whatever.
Bros. Yeah, shout out Killer C for hooking it up. He gave us a beat from Technico Brothers back in the day, and we did a song with the New Breed dudes.
Yeah, what the fuck was the song? I just remember my shit. Proof positive, yeah.
Proof positive.
Check the
yeah,
resume.
Plus to the minus.
We never hesitate to make a move.
Yeah, that song's fire. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, that's fuck. So how'd you get your shit back?
What's that?
You got the CDJ back from
Oh yeah, the
Killer C?
Yeah, well, no, security brought it out.
Oh, they brought it out? With everybody's coats
they
or what?
They brought everyone's coats and everyone's shit out.
A big cardboard box full of coats or what?
Yeah. Because I was like, I'll admit, I was like ready to fight, bro. I was ready to scrap over it because it was an outright lie.
Yeah.
You know, it was an outright lie, like, dude, what are you doing? And then the funny thing is, years later, I ended up being told that they fired Joe Vertigo for misusing his power and doing weird shit, just being extra or whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a shame because we were tight as fuck with them, dude. Like, all the old footage that we have of, like, all the shows that we did, like, you know, I can be 100% real. The only thing we ever did to step on their toes ever in all the shows we ever did.
Yeah.
The only time we ever stepped on their toes is when we were told not to film Tech's set.
That's funny. I was about to talk about that.
Yeah, we were told not to film Tech's set, and then, you know, Savage used to roll with us filming all of our fucking shows and shit. And like, I don't know if Savage ever heard that or if he just completely disregarded it. But the bottom line is he recorded Tech's fucking set back. I mean, this is even before Ever Ready album. You know, we're talking like Absolute Power era. Like,
it was either about to drop or he hadn't blown up yet.
He recorded Tech's whole set from the balcony in Spokane, from the upper balcony, and he got busted. He outright got busted by their security.
They made him record over it.
They made him go and record with the lens cap on. Yeah. And record
because I still have the footage. It's just dark and you can hear just like shit.
You can hear muffled Tech N9ne.
Well,
but
I was gonna bring it up because that shit is funny as fuck to me. Because if you go to a show now, what the fuck is everybody doing? Everybody in the place has got their phone up.
But that's the brilliance of Travis and Strange Music keeping the exclusivity.
At the time I got it. I get it.
Yeah, no one else is gonna put out some busted ass film about Strange Music or Tech N9ne. It's gonna be us that does that.
Yeah.
So I respect it, and like, you know, apologies there. Like, Travis, you know, apologies there, but that's the only thing we ever fucking did. When it comes down to it, like, no one, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but how many flyers did you put up for Tech N9ne around Montana before Tech N9ne blew up and was like a household name and like all that shit? Because I remember the first shows we got put on with Tech, I was putting 5,000 fucking flyers out all over fucking Montana, not just Bozeman, taking a trip to Billings, going to Missoula, like if
everywhere.
like Strange Music Street Team shit, dude. I fucking, before I ever got on actually with Strange Music, I was already doing it because Killa C was working Strange Music Street Team, and he subcontracted out
He
and
subbed
gave
it out
me
to
the
you?
shit and had me fucking promoting Strange Music before I ever made that connection.
Yeah.
Like, if we really want to go back as
For
far as
sure.
we've been repping, but all the shows in Montana back in the day, man, the amount of promotion that we did in order to earn our spots on those
Yeah.
shows. That's why I don't understand why these rappers that are on shows these days or on Rap in the Rivers Festival, why ain't you promoting? You have to be your number one promoter. If you don't have an agent, who else is promoting you?
Yeah.
You are. And if you aren't, then
Well.
who the fuck is? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you gonna get to the next level if you don't promote your own shit? And being a part of something, like, you have to be willing to promote.
Yeah, shit is crazy. I
Like,
mean,
you know, that's what we did, man. We ran the fucking streets with
well,
flyers.
shit's different now because we had to earn our spot, and motherfuckers are just paying to be on shows these days. I mean, not, it's everywhere. That's just how it goes now.
So it's just a different format and formula, like, think about it this way. So the formula for Rap in the Rivers Festival, they're paying $500 to get $2,000 in tickets.
Yeah.
In our heyday, imagine if someone gave us that opportunity.
Yeah.
We'd be back in like a week fucking getting more tickets. And like, once these artists sell their fucking 10 tickets, I'm willing to front them 10 more.
Yeah.
And have them sell them and then split the profits 50-50.
Yeah.
They don't have to invest anything further
Yeah.
in that. And to me, I don't understand why artists who claim to be in their prime or are half our age and know way more people than we know,
Yeah.
like, why aren't these people taking advantage and pushing harder to be more of like a promoter about it? Like, you don't have an agent that's promoting what you're doing, so you are that person.
Yeah.
You kind of have to rely on yourself to let people know whatever show you're playing next, or whatever song you're putting out next, or whatever single you got coming, video, whatever it may be. But a lot of these artists, like, it's like they're keeping a secret. They're keeping the shows a secret. Like, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody.
I think people just think that they're gonna play a show with some celebrity and that they're gonna get famous by doing that. And we could tell you firsthand that is not how it works.
That's definitely not how it works.
I mean, how many people, besides just doing those shows, how many celebrities have told us how dope we were?
Many.
Pulled us aside and like took the time. But then, nobody's like willing to take to back us or take a shot on us or like vouch for us. So it's like, even if there is somebody there that likes your shit, like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the disconnect is with like people and not wanting people to see them perform. I don't know. Maybe they don't want people to see them lip sync. I don't fucking know.
So there's that too, but then another angle I was thinking of is like, okay, so I got these tickets for this show. What's a better look to
give these tickets away?
To be that guy who's trying to get you to buy a ticket and fail.
Yeah.
In any shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
To hear a no
Yeah.
in any shape, form, or fashion is crushing to people in this current day and age.
Yeah.
To where,
yeah.
Dude, you remember us putting flyers out and walking to people and being like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And then you get the Joe Cool guy that's like, I can't even see you. Is there someone there? Like, he's not even going to look at you.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel some sort of way. And when you're young and you try to hand that flyer out and the person's like either no thanks or they just don't even fucking respond to you, like you're just not there, that hurts your feelings when you're young. But when you're older, it's like, who gives a fuck? I'm going to ask 100 more fucking people. But I legitimately think that some of these artists are afraid to hear no in any shape, form, or fashion. So rather than try to sell the tickets and quadruple their investment, right? Like the opportunity to take 500 and turn it into 2,000 in a legal hustle, with something that you supposedly love and dedicate your life to.
Yeah.
To me, as a young man, I would have taken that as a challenge, and I would have fucking sold a fuck, you know. And there's a handful of artists that do that for us, that do sell more than their initial ticket pack. But there's also people that I literally look at their social media and they haven't shared one post. They literally are keeping it a secret, and I don't get it.
And we're not just like talking specifically about Rapping the Rivers. Like
no,
for as long as like you've been offering that to people,
any show,
it doesn't matter what fucking. I mean, Rapping the Rivers is an hour away. So I get it, that's a ways. But if a show is downtown Bozeman, you live here, you got family and friends here, you have tickets to sell. What the fuck is the problem there?
I'm telling you, they just don't want to hear. They're not willing to hear no even one time. So rather than ask anyone, they just pretend no one was interested. Or they'll try to give some tickets away maybe. But like, I don't see anyone capitalize on that opportunity the way that I feel like they really could. Like, you know, some shows are more expensive tickets than others, and there's reasons why sometimes it doesn't work out for certain people to sell some. But when it comes down to it, any slot that I've ever sold for a show, I've always given at least double whatever the person invested in their performance slot in tickets. So to me, I feel like, you know, it should be a like no-brainer that any artist with any sort of fan base would be like, okay, that's dope. I'm part investor in this show now.
And fuck, even if you
It's a
can't,
different angle to look at, but fuck, I would let someone sell as many fucking tickets as they could on a show and get 50-50 split on every ticket. So how is that taking any sort of like advantage? Because if they were in LA or New York trying to jump on any show with a famous rapper, you're paying $1,000, and then you're also probably required to sell 20 tickets, and you don't get to keep any of that money. Like, pay to play is such a different thing. Like, I don't even like it when people call the way that I sell slots pay to play. It's not pay to play. It's you're a part investor in something.
Well, I wasn't even, when we started talking about it, I wasn't even talking about you. I was just saying like the game is pay to play.
Oh, it is. And that's the thing. Like the game is pay to play, and most people ain't giving any opportunity back. They're literally like, you know, the time on stage is all you're getting. And like with the way that I've been doing things for, I'm gonna say 10 years now, any show that we brought to town, any artist has the opportunity to double up their money. And there's been artists that weren't great performers that ended up making a lot of money being a part of the show. There's artists that are great performers that don't tell anyone about the show, and I go by their house the day before the show that they've been promoting for 2 months, and all the tickets are sitting next to the fucking dab rig or the bong on the counter, and it's like, you know, are you?
I thought about selling them, but
are you gonna sell those? And then I look at the same person's Facebook, and they never shared one thing about the show in the fucking 6 weeks since the show got booked. And it's like, okay, well, you keep saying that I'm the promoter, so I'm the one that's supposed to promote. But when it comes down to it, so as I get older as a person, you have to realize that I have less and less initial people that are going to come to every event that I put together, right? Because everyone's getting older.
It's a young man's game.
Yeah, well, they have families. They're chilling out. They're in bed by 9 o'clock. The times have changed to the point where, you know, I do rely, even though I'm the one putting money out to book the shows and bring people, I rely on the openers that jump on the shows to tell their friends, because I'm trying to find a younger demographic of people who still actually come out past fucking 10 p.m. and support shows. So like, if if an artist wants to show up to a show and not do any promotion and just play for the people that I can scrounge up, as an older dude that I am that doesn't go out and party and socialize, you know, it's like you'll see the difference if everyone teams up and makes it a group effort. And that's why the festival and having so many artists on it, it's crucial, because if we were to team up with every act that's on the bill doing the job of to the best of their ability of promoting for months on end, like the possibilities are crazy. Like,
Well, it's very apparent that none of these people ever had to try to fight somebody because they were putting flyers up.
Oh, I mean, how many times have you had that happen in life? Because it's happened to me.
Like, not only were we like earning our spot, we were like having to fucking have altercations with people to promote the shows that we were gonna be on.
Fuck, many times. Even putting flyers up on campus and having to battle fucking people on the spot, or trying to battle them and then having them not want to fucking do a rebuttal. They're like, yeah, I gotta go to class.
I got class.
I got class. But yeah, definitely, the things that we had to do to earn our stripes were like literally footwork. Before there was pay to play, we would get in touch with concert companies and shit, and the expectation was for us to put out 10,000 flyers in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Drive around the state of Montana, put out 10,000 flyers in 2 weeks type shit. That's
on your own dime and shit.
Yeah, on our own dime. That's what we did to get on the big shows and just learn the ropes of how to put shows on ourselves, even if they're smaller scale.
Yeah.
And then, everything that I learned as an artist, I try to flip it into a situation where this shit is for everyone. Like, if someone raps and they're willing to, like, help out the cause, I'm willing to share this investment with pretty much anybody, because I feel like ultimately hip-hop, it's always been to bring people together. Like, it was supposed to be about unity. I don't feel like it was ever really supposed to be a thing for dividing people.
For sure, man. It's like gatekeepers and shit. Well, and this shit is crazy to me. Like I never got that mentality, like the whole gatekeeping shit.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, some people aren't dope, and maybe they shouldn't fucking quit their day job, but like, when you got dope ass performers and shit, like, how is it hurting you to fucking help somebody else out, or like let them fucking in the game and shit? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and the bottom line for me is music is therapy. Like, I've always looked at music as therapy.
Yeah.
And so, like, for anybody of any skill level to use writing lyrics and making songs as a way to fucking better themselves, feel better about life, get through some shit, whatever it takes, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's many purposes to be a rap artist, and there are terrible rappers out there that people hear them and they're like, you shouldn't even be fucking trying that.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, are they using it to try to be someone they're not? That's probably stupid. We probably won't like that. But when it comes down to it, if they're using it to get shit off their chest and use it the way that I use hip hop,
yeah,
then I understand it.
I'm not telling anybody not to rap. I'm just saying, like, there definitely has to be some quality control, as far as, like, if you have a bunch of terrible artists on a show, it doesn't look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying don't rap. Just, I don't know. It's just not a good look sometimes.
For sure. And there's been some bad ones over the years. Like,
I mean, sometimes you take
no names mentioned. But
sometimes you take what you can get, but I don't know.
And I'll say this too, like, when it comes down to the bad ones that have popped up over the years, and there's been some really ridiculous ones, like, not to cop out on it, but like, when I'm investing my own money to bring certain artists, there should be a more of a standard to me in the process of picking the artist, but at some point also I can't you can't just take an L and not take money
for
when
sure.
it's there.
I understand the contradiction of what I just said is, like, I don't get the gatekeeping, but there should be a standard. But I feel like those two things can coexist at the same time.
Guilty.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
not guilty of gatekeeping. I'm definitely guilty of maybe, like, sharing the pie a little bit too much at times with some people who may not be quite ready for a show or the stage.
I mean, yeah. But there's
at
a
least
difference.
They can't say I didn't put on, or I didn't try to put people on. Like,
but there's a difference between people who aren't ready for the stage and people who just don't fucking really belong there. And it's very apparent when you see a person who's just like, because there's so many people that are like super talented that like we've seen over the years that just don't have the techniques down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't look good on stage right now, but with a little polish, they could, definitely be something. Yeah, diamond in the rough. As my dog comes,
for sure,
click clacking in the room.
Think about the first shows that I did, like
yeah,
almost any rapper that I've met in the last 10 years, their first show is a billion times better than my first show. Like my first show is like absolutely forgettable.
Well, we didn't have anything to go by. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
hip hop didn't really exist here, other than the fucking radio show at KGLT. We'd get occasional shows, but the YouTube wasn't shit.
Yeah,
social media didn't exist, so like you don't. I mean, you can see kids these days go on stage and they think they're supposed to like do a certain thing on the stage because they saw that shit on TikTok or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, I'm supposed to fucking do this because I saw it. But yeah, we didn't have shit to go by. We just had to fucking learn that shit as we went.
For sure, man.
I think that's something we've always been good at is like testing out things that work. We whether it be a song or whatever the fuck it is, like we always test shit out. Like if it doesn't work, it like immediately. You're like, this isn't a show song, because not every song is a fucking show song.
For sure.
Like some artists need to understand that shit too. Like you can fucking Debbie Downer a crowd real fucking quick with the wrong selection.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we do some songs that like. We should cut, but like
what I'm
talking about, right?
Songs and like when I watch the footage back, I'm like, why the fuck did we do this song?
But we never did it again. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that was
a lesson learned.
But I'll see cats do the same set every show, and you're like, oh, here comes this one.
Yep.
And you're like, dude, you built like you were doing good. You built this momentum, and then you fucking threw this Debbie Downer in there, and then everybody took a smoke break, like
cigarette break.
So I don't know. I guess
shout out cigarette break.
Yeah. AKA shout out Marlboro.
Whoever does the Debbie Downer song,
but
new alias.
Yeah.
Cigarette break.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how we got here. We were talking about how we fell out with strange music, but
yeah. So
just I guess earning our spot to get on with them and. How? Yeah, I don't know, man. It was always a good time doing shows with them. Tech and fucking Chris and Cut were always hella cool. And I just remember when we did that show in Idaho Falls, and because we would get like a little backstage area. Mm-hmm. Like we had that little backstage in Idaho Falls, and we had we asked for Hennessy.
Yeah, we asked for Hennessy, yeah.
And they brought us the world's smallest Hennessy bottle. They didn't, but whoever brought it, the promoter did.
It would have been Knitting Factory, Greg Marchand.
But we had a bunch of ice and soda and shit.
The
and
world's smallest
mixers
Hennessy.
And the little guy. But then we went next door and we're drinking with Tech and them and just kicking it. So
yeah,
with our little proud of our little little Hennessy bottle. So
yeah,
that was
it's a shame that. So it's just a real shame that things didn't last a little bit longer of us being tight with them, because I feel like when they started growing and signing all these other artists and shit, they wouldn't even have to look for us because we were already fucking there.
Yeah.
And they definitely were treating us like we were I felt like we were part of their little strange music family before they started signing all these other artists.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that a lie from a complaint from fucking two dudes who thought we were cutting into their set time, and then a fucking an outright blatant fucking lie from Joe Vertigo, saying that we said some shit we would never say. Like, that's the reason that maybe Filth and Foul doesn't break through and get signed by Strange Music and end up being Mayday or end up being Stevie Stone, you know, because we were already in way before those guys even came into the picture.
And we would rock shows too, man.
If nothing else, you know, the collab albums and shit, the Tech Nine collabos.
Like, we could have got on one of those, man.
He's got Killer C and Liquid Assassin on one, and you know,
shit.
So to me, I'm like, bro, that's a no brainer. Of course we would have been fucking with them.
Yeah, and just like, man, how dope would that have been to like get on with them? And because, you know, we're like using internet beats back in the day at one point, and just to like get on with them and have like in-house production and just to be able to like be a fucking musician just like full time. At least, even if it was like one album or whatever the fuck, just like to get to focus on it completely would have been crazy. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And like develop like a sound with like one producer or what, you know, I don't know. It's depressing to think about shit like that, but.
Well, all I know is the next time after that happened that me and you were back together. And we had the show in 2011 with Tech and Helena. And I remember seeing him, and all we got was a fucking head nod.
Yeah.
Like, he went from, yo, Nickel B, what's up? You know, grabbing me out of a crowd and giving me hugs and shit when he'd see me at shows to...
Yeah. And we had to ask him for a shout out.
Yeah.
And he did it, but...
Yeah. No, he just... you know, granted he was blowing up and getting really big at the time, but like whatever that was all about had turned him some sort of way.
Yeah.
And the love just wasn't there no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame, but it's how she goes sometimes. People don't always get the entire story, and like, you know, all I can do is keep saying, you know, why didn't Travis go and look at that footage? Like, did he think I was bluffing?
Yeah.
Like, he could have just looked at the footage, saw that we never said that shit, and, you know, maybe they would have been able to fire Joe Vertigo years prior.
We could have saved you a lot of headache.
That was just bullshit, dude. Just no way that we would have ever done that.
Hell no.
And, you know, Strange Music and Tech Nine, they actually... Not to toot our horns, but they kind of lost out when it comes down to it because a lot of them artists that they ended up signing aren't self-starters like we are. They're not already a fucking package that's ready to go. Like, you don't have to teach us how to rock a show live. You don't have to teach us how to promote ourselves, you know? You don't have to teach us how to be a team player, you know? And the only thing I can admit to is the fucking filming their show in Spokane.
Yeah.
You know, and that was fucking that was our cameraman.
Yeah.
Being a fucking stoner and just
drunk off his ass.
So if that's the worst thing that we ever did to those guys and all the other good times that we had and shit, you know, so be it. But shout out to Strange Music for the good times.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we never said fuck Strange Music. I never said, no one that was with us ever said fuck Strange Music. That never happened. It just never happened.
Nah, we never would have said that shit. I mean, I wasn't there, like I said.
No, it was literally like, there's just no way that would have ever happened. Like, we were very professional, and, you know, if doing the little Filth and Foul shout out thing before we walked off, you know, it takes like 15 seconds or whatever, but if that's what we did, that was a fuck you. It was not literal wordage of saying fuck Strange Music, and by no means would we have done that.
Shit, I'm ready for my strange piece.
Yeah, I mean, still, dude. Still, we can reunite. You know?
I got gas in the tank.
Yep. Shit.
Let's go.
I feel like what we write and what we spit and how we perform has done nothing but improve the entirety of our careers. Like, of course, no MC's ever going to say they fell off, but I just feel like we're more dialed in, more professional. You know, there's not shows where we're wasted and forgetting our shit anymore. Like,
And I barely drink.
yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I'm like, fuck, dude. I want to say I've drank twice in the last year, and when I did drink, I wasn't feeling it, man. Like,
Yeah, man.
I'd drink half of a double and just be like, nah, this ain't the move for me. I just don't feel it. Yeah, I just haven't been feeling it, bro. Like,
Yeah, like if we have a show and like I'm gonna be there for like 4 hours, like I'll get there, I'll have a mixed drink, and then I'll have a beer, and I'm done for the night. That would put because you get to the bar or wherever and you're like,
yeah,
it feels weird, and then you get one drink in, and then you're like, all right, I could chill out for a bit and vibe with this place, but
yeah. I don't know how the fuck we used to have 5 doubles and be rocking an hour-long set. Just don't.
man,
I don't see how we did it, but
free drinks are not always a good thing.
no.
You remember that show we did at was
Like
it that place called the Rialto in Helena?
Pile of free drink tickets like that.
Is that what it was called?
Helena, Rialto, yeah.
Like
Outdoor.
downtown?
Yeah, and there's like an outdoor backstage.
You remember that Fireball show we did there? It was like sponsored by Fireball, and they were just passing out fucking Fireball and
I should have learned on that one, but I actually did another show sponsored by Fireball up in Whitefish, like years later, and same result.
You partook in the Fireball.
Same result.
It didn't.
Yeah. Pushing those shots on everyone in the crowd and taking one here and there and thinking it's not adding up.
Oh, they add up.
Like, oh, God, dude. And then throwing up Fireball, there's nothing worse than throwing that shit up.
Well, man, the hangovers, all the sugar, this is just the worst, bro. How are we still alive?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, shit. Yeah. That was me, bro. He's like, it's dinner time. Well, shit. I guess we can wrap it up, B.